The other day I was wearing a watch that I had gotten in for review, and something happened that has never happened to me in the history of my watch collecting. So it was early in the morning and I was wearing this watch. I took it off, laid it on the marble countertop in the washroom, and prepared to get ready for the day. When my wife wandered in, looked down at this watch, picked it up and said, "What a beautiful watch." And I was absolutely floored, stunned. In the 3 years I've been making videos, she's never once shown any interest in any of my watches except for perhaps the Vario Trench watch. And she picked it up and she said, "What a beautiful blue dial." And so today I want to show you that very watch by Satori Watches, and you can decide if you too think that this is a beautiful watch. Well, today we have the companion by brand new Microbrand Satori Watches. Satori Watches is based out of the London, UK area, and for their very first watch they have for us a beautiful field style watch. Now this is a prototype, there's going to be some changes, so please bear with me. I will detail all of those at the end. The watch is a larger watch of 43 millimeters in diameter, but it doesn't really wear that way to me. It wears more like a 41. So if that's a concern for you, stick with me and just check it out on my wrist down the road. It does have a 50 or 50 point something millimeter lug to lug, but it's only 11.25 millimeters thick. So it wears really well for a field watch, I find. 316L bead blasted stainless steel. It's got a crown that has a logo printed on it. Quite a nice logo, I would say, for this. And it weighs in only at 63 grams or 86 grams on the supplied strap. Now here's a great thing about this watch. 100 meters of water resistance. And that's really important for a field watch to me, because that means you can take this swimming. You can strap it on if you're going up fishing, whatever it is you're doing. You're going for a hike, you find a grotto, you want to jump in, cool off in the middle of the day. You can do that with this watch. And a lot of field watches only have 50 meters of water resistance. Of course, it has a sapphire crystal, and it comes on this canvas strap that has a calf leather backing, and it has quick release spring bars, which to me is really important. Taking a closer look, I'd like to begin with the case because it's a bit of a unique case, especially when it comes to that bezel with those scalloped out sections on it. It is, of course, a fixed bezel, but it does add an interesting detail to the watch and a touch of symmetry. Plus, it adds a little bit more clearance when it comes to winding and unwinding that crown, which is a good thing because actually in my nitpick section, I'll tell you, I find the crown a little hard to unscrew and to manipulate, especially if you have gloves on. The bead blasting finish is very well done, very well applied. I will say though that the downside to the bead blasting is that you will find that it does scratch up. I believe this mark here even comes from me, and I have no idea how that happened because I've barely worn the watch. So you do want to be careful with it. On the upside, it's pretty easy to fix if you need to fix it. And at the end of the day, it really does add a nice tactical feel to this field watch. Flipping it over, we find a screwed down Caseback, which lets you know that this has a Swiss automatic movement, that it's water resistant to 10 ATM, and that it's made of stainless steel. And of course, they have their logo there. A really nice, attractive, legible Caseback. And we're going to talk about that Swiss automatic movement in a second because that is a highlight for the watch. As my wife noted, this does have a beautiful dial. Everything is printed, and it's printed very well. It has an angled rehaut with minute markings at the 5s, starting with 60 at the top there and working its way around. So it does have a lot of clarity and legibility, which is what you want in a field watch. Big, bold numbers, marks from 12 through to 11, of course. And because it is a field watch, there is an inner chapter ring that has the 24-hour markings, which is a hallmark of a field watch. The date at the 3 outlined in white, very nice, very simple, doesn't cut into the 3 or make it look weird or awkward at all. Their attractive logo there at the 12, and of course it says Satori Automatic there above the 6 near the pinion. And one of the things I really like about this dial is how it plays with the light. It's sort of reflective in a way, which means that outside at times it impedes visibility. I really like the shape of the handset, although in my nitpick section I'm going to mention this. I think they're just a little too thin, a little too delicate, but I do like the choice of the shape. They are filled with lume, and that seconds hand has a squared off lollipop marker, which I also quite enjoy. And I really do like the supplied strap. It's a canvas strap with a leather backing. It is genuine leather on the back. I could have gone with a canvas strap all the way through. That's my preferred for a field watch. It does take to the water better, but it really, really complements this watch extremely well. Well, no watch is perfect, so what are my picks and my nitpicks? Well, for picks, straight off the bat, I want to talk about what's under the hood. This movement is a Sellita SW201. It's a Swiss automatic movement with, of course, the date there at the 3. And the price is another aspect to this. So the retail price is going to be £460. That's $574 US. It comes with a 2-year warranty. But for the first 100 backers, there's a super early bird price of £345 or $430. $430 is a fantastic value for a watch like this. You will often see watches around that price mark with a Miyota 9000 movement, even sometimes a Seiko NH35, 36. So to get a Swiss movement of that caliber is a fantastic deal in my mind. I do think it is a beautiful watch. It's a great interpretation of a field watch. It's slim. It wears really well, which is something you want in a watch. It is really legible, which is good. And the lume is pretty decent on this watch, but let's talk about that in a little bit more in the next section. Let's talk about our nitpicks. So mentioning the lume I found pretty good, but they're actually going to improve that lume. They're going to add a few more layers to it, so I think that is a good thing. They're going to change this to a black leather. I guess some people felt that that would be better for whatever reason. For my nitpick, the crown is a big one for me. I kind of have a hard time manipulating it, and I had a little bit of issue with setting the date as well on this particular movement. Now it is a prototype, so some concessions have to be made in this, and it's been passed around from reviewer to reviewer, so please bear that in mind. My biggest gripe, though, I think, is the handset. It's just a little too delicate, a little too thin, and because they are chrome, sometimes you lose a lot of the breadth of the hands, the width of the hands, and the chunkiness to the light as it reflects light back at you. And what you end up only seeing is the lume-filled center. And a watch like this at 43 millimeters, I think it just needs a little more presence. Now, the great thing is, that's exactly what they're going to do. Satori Watches has noted that, and they're going to beef up these hands, which I think is a fantastic idea for this watch. Overall, I think this is just a really good looking watch, a fantastic first offering from Satori Watches. I am so grateful to have checked it out, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the finished model looks like, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future. Well, that's it for me today. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'd like to thank Satori Watches for passing this along for review. Hey, if you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. It is free to do so, but more importantly, it really helps to prop up my fragile ego. Take care.